Tonight on Cronkite News, see why teams are traveling thousands and thousands of miles just to train before the big stage.
We laid a pretty solid foundation for the next generation to build upon.
Far Team USA has come heading into the World Cup.
And how Spencer Pratt's odds are looking following more ballots coming into LA County. And find out why our own primary elections right here in Arizona are coming much sooner than you may be used to. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Andrew Montana.
And I'm Hope Frost. Thank you for joining us.
The World Cup kicks off soon, which means teams and fans alike are getting ready to travel across 3 different countries. But just how many miles will these teams be covering in the group stage? Jake Jovine is at the touchscreen to break down just how far some of these teams are going.
A lot of planning goes in for this World Cup, so let's take a look at some itineraries. And remember, this is just group stage action, tracking miles from each team's training bases to the stadiums. For two teams in Group D, let's say, the U.S. is expected to cover over 2,000 miles in 3 games, which includes going to Seattle and back. If Mauricio Pochettino's men finish first, they will tack on about 350 more miles for their round of 32 clash in Santa Clara. Second place means more miles, 845 more to be exact, as the runners-up will play in Dallas on July 3rd. That seems like a lot, but it's actually little compared to Turkey's. In its first World Cup appearance in 24 years, Vincenzo Montella's side will play in Vancouver, Santa Clara, and Los Angeles. With the team traveling between games back and forth to their training camp in Mesa, Turkey is expected to cover roughly 4,500 miles in this, the most in this group. For the tournament favorites, it's no different. Out of the top 5 teams in FIFA's official rankings released in April, as shown with these numbers right here, England will travel the most in this group, nearly 5,500 miles between the 3 Lions' training camp in Kansas City and their games in Arlington, Foxborough, and New York. But one team that really sticks out is Bosnia. The Balkan country will set up camp in Salt Lake City and will play in Toronto, Los Angeles, and Seattle. Bosnia's total mileage for the group is around 6,000. To put that in context, you could fly from Bosnia's capital of Sarajevo to Salt Lake City, Sandy, Utah, and it's roughly the same distance that the team will cover in the entirety of the group stage. This tournament promises to be a spectacle, but how much will all this flying affect the players? We will have to see. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Jake. Now the World Cup just begins in a few days on Thursday.
While we're still talking about travel, the world's most iconic sports trophy is on tour ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Its last stop is Mexico City. The Coca-Cola Trophy Tour was designed to bring the legendary prize to fans around the world. In Mexico City, 700 fans per hour filed into activity rooms to look at the soccer displays, including jerseys and other memorabilia. At the end of the journey was a look at the Golden Trophy. Organizers say the tour started months ago.
We've made over 150 stops throughout the world. It started in Saudi Arabia in January 3rd, so it has been really a world tour. In Mexico, in this case, it was really special because, you know, we're having the inauguration on Thursday.
The first game of the World Cup is in Mexico City on Thursday when Mexico takes on South Africa.
The U.S. men's national team had its final friendly ahead of the World Cup against Germany at Soldier Field. Our very own Jacob Brooks was in Chicago and has more on how the Stars and Stripes were looking just ahead of group play.
When Team USA stepped into the rain-filled ring with 4-time champion Team Germany, the players knew it would be a physical heavyweight battle, which is why despite the 2-1 loss, their self-belief is peaking heading into the World Cup.
We're able to battle, get chances, throughout the whole game, have possession against a top team. I feel like that's going to give us a lot of confidence going to the World Cup.
I think we want to go and prove ourselves right, that we can go in and compete with the best and really make a run in this tournament. For us, that's what it's all about.
The biggest confidence-inducing play was Anthony Robinson's volley goal, his return of the Jedi moment.
Just being here in general and being with the team, it's something that I wasn't quite sure was going to happen the way my year's gone. I think everyone can see and how I celebrated and the emotions that came out that, it meant the world to me.
I don't know that I've ever seen him hit
hit one better than that. And you know what, for everything that he's gone through over the last 18 months, he deserved that one for sure.
The match may have been a loss for Team USA, but the day was a win for soccer here in the States. Soldier Field was sold out and absolutely rocking. In pregame, they honored the 1994 U.S. men's national team, a full circle moment that showcased just how far the sport has come in the U.S.
We opened a lot of people's eyes up in the United States, and we laid a pretty solid foundation for the next generation to build upon.
I mean, it warms the cockles of my redheaded American heart to see how far we've come, and it's unprecedented when you compare it to any country and culture around.
They're an inspiration to so many people. I wasn't born yet, but people talk about them, and I know what they did, and I want to be the next sort of generation to be able to put our team on the map and put the country on the map.
The iconic squad that beat the odds on home soil believes this year's team can too.
They're talented enough if they can just listen to that last verse of our anthems and stay true to it. The last thing they hear before they play is the best advice they can get. Home of the brave.
That quest for history will begin on Friday in the group stage against Paraguay in LA. In Chicago, Jacob Brooks, Cronkite News.
With the World Cup almost here, communities are starting to prepare for the big wave of visitors coming to celebrate. Nearby in California, Santa Clara is preparing to host games with the local community, presenting many different events. Row Cup at Santana Row will have over 15 restaurants hosting watch parties during the tournament. San Pedro Square in San Jose will have a 30,000 square foot street festival during the whole tournament. In Los Angeles, there will be 10 different watch parties all over the city during the span of the World Cup.
And coming up next, celebrations underway at Chase Field.
What had fans?
We got Dodger fans, we got D-back fans. We all came here for a good time, have that good Mexican heritage.
A once-a-year event.
Plus, hot and windy conditions all across the state. What can we expect in the coming days? More with your weather forecast coming up next.
This is where Cronkite can be creative.
You meet so many new people who are on different communities, and when you do that, you're able to network not only, but also get to engage, talk to people, and make life friends.
I think that definitely surprised me, the community that I would find, because I wasn't really expecting it.
Freedom.
Friendly. Nice. I'd say cozy.
As a teacher, you just want to reach people. You want to make a difference. You want to help them. I have an opportunity to do something I never imagined I would be able to do. Go out and build the best biology class the world has ever seen. When you go into Dreamscape Learn, you put on a set of goggles and you can go anywhere. You can be anyone and do anything. The thing about Arizona State University is they're always thinking about what's next. We can create virtual reality experiences so that you can learn by exploring in a virtual world the way that scientists explore in the real world. And kids can feel that. All these emotions are what help the brain encode information. When I see a student come out of VR, the look on their face is nothing like I've ever seen when I finish a lecture. They look so happy to be there. in that moment. You know that you've reached them.
Welcome back to Cronkite Sports, and what a finish as the Arizona Diamondbacks got the walk-off victory in Game 4 against the Dodgers.
Cronkite News reporter Daniel Duque explains while it was time for the D-backs to celebrate, it was also a time for fans from both sides to share a special evening.
It was the last game of the series between the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers in downtown Phoenix. Chase Field was ready for another night of baseball. Despite the intense rivalry, fans came together to celebrate another edition of the annual Mexican Heritage Night.
We should celebrate culture, and that's what makes the United States rich, right?
The rivalry between the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers may be the main attraction, but in this occasion, Mexican Heritage Night turns Chase Field into a celebration of identity, culture, and the fans that make baseball the sport it is.
The celebration of the culture of Mexico tonight, everybody gets to enjoy it. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from.
Before the game, Mexican traditions had already taken over Chase Field, with mariachis playing at the gate, welcoming everyone with their music. Throughout the game, fans enjoyed traditions like banda music, the Mexican wave, and even chants in Spanish, giving the Diamondbacks that positive energy to make their comeback and get the victory.
I think that Mexican culture needs to be celebrated across the country. It doesn't matter whether people understand it or not, but I think that we always need to be able to expand, whether it be culture within what we know or within what we not know.
With the D-backs winning it in the last inning, fans continue to celebrate outside of Chase Field, but always with respect and with the memory of an unforgettable Mexican Heritage Night.
We got Dodger fans, we got D-back fans. We all came here for a good time, have that good Mexican heritage.
In Phoenix, Daniel Duque, Cronkite News.
The D-backs will open a 6-game road trip tomorrow in Miami. However, they aren't the only baseball team in town celebrating, as GCU has officially hired Steve Beazer to become the Lopes head baseball coach.
President Donald Trump is attending tonight's NBA Finals for Game 3 in New York City. Now, security will be heightened around Madison Square Garden, forcing the cancellation of fan watch parties all around the arena. But some fans have mixed feelings about it.
A lot of people can't afford to get into the game. I'm one of those people, so I was actually looking forward to going to one of these watch parties, and now I can't, so I have to find a bar or another place or a venue that's hosting it. So, I mean, I have no opinion on him coming, but it's just kind of a shame that people like me can't go.
Knicks fans are known for their crazy antics outside MSG during the game, but this time they will need to go elsewhere. Secret Service worked closely with NYPD to close the area around the arena for the entire night, but the Knicks are providing other watch parties in separate places all across the city. Well, it's about 60 degrees in New York City tonight, but we here in Arizona are very far from that tally.
That's right, Andrew. It's been a hot few days and nights. Madison Kaminsky joins us now from the Cronkite Weather Center with our forecast.
The Knicks are not the only thing that's heating up this week. We're expecting our first 110-degree day later on. We usually see this right about this time of year on average on June 18th. Last year, we saw it on June 14th, so we're kind of right on par. Like we're usually seeing these red flag warnings in June. We have one for the northern part of the state going until tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. This is that extreme fire danger, so if there's a spark that's starting, it can easily spread and cause some significant concerns. Right now, the winds are relatively light, maybe a nice breeze, and they'll die down overnight. But as we get into tomorrow afternoon, a main concern is going to be in the high country where you have winds 20 to 25 miles per hour and gusts upwards of 45 miles per hour. Those overnight low temperatures going to be pretty warm here in Phoenix at 78 degrees, 81 degrees in Lake Havasu City, places along the rim in the 50s, and 40s in Flagstaff and the Grand Canyon. Our temperatures in our afternoon hour, we'll see 107 here in Gila Bend, 105 down here in Phoenix, places along the rim generally in the 80s, 91 in Sedona, and 79 in Flagstaff. The rest of this week, we're going to have a general warming trend. We'll see 108 on Wednesday. As we get into Thursday, it's a little bit iffy if there's more cloud coverage or less cloud coverage, how much will warm up. but Saturday is the day that I'm expecting that near 110 degree temperature. This computer model isn't quite forecasting 110, but knowing how we are in Phoenix, things usually just are a little bit warmer than we like them to be. Our lows will be in the mid to upper 80s, so instead of waking up in the near 80 degrees in the morning, we'll be waking up near 90 degrees. From the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Madison Kaminsky.
Thank you, Madison. Now, coming up next, Hope, wildfire season is ramping up.
That's right, Andrew. A new study from NASA has surprising findings on how dangerous wildfire smoke can be. More details on a new study from NASA coming up on Cronkite News.
This is where Cronkite can be creative.
You meet so many new people who are on different communities, and when you do that, you're able to network not only, but also get to engage, talk to people, and make life friends.
I think that definitely surprised me, the community that I would find, because I wasn't really expecting it. I was
freedom.
Friendly. Nice. I'd say cozy.
As a teacher, you just want to reach people. You want to make a difference. You want to help them. I have an opportunity to do something I never imagined I would be able to do. Go out and build the best biology class the world has ever seen. When you go into Dreamscape Learn, you put on a set of goggles and you can go anywhere. You can be anyone and do anything. The thing about Arizona State University is they're always thinking about what's next. We can create virtual reality experiences so that you can learn by exploring in a virtual world the way that scientists explore in the real world. And kids can feel that. All these emotions are what help the brain encode information. When I see a student come out of VR, the look on their face is nothing like I've ever seen when I finish a lecture. They look so happy to be there. In that moment, you know that you've reached them.
Hello and welcome back to Cronkite News. I'm Addison Lenhart with a look at tonight's news headlines. We begin with the latest on the conflict in the Middle East. Israel and Iran are pausing attacks today after trading strikes. Those strikes were the first since April's ceasefire. President Donald Trump called for an immediate stop between the two countries, and Israel's military said it was halting strikes. During a videotaped statement, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also implied the fighting was over.
At the moment, the fire has ceased, because after we struck the terror regime in Tehran, it stopped attacking us. If the terror regime in Iran makes the mistake of attacking us again, we will respond with force.
The Prime Minister also said Israel will continue its operations in Lebanon by fighting the Iranian-backed group Hezbollah. Pope Leo XIV addressed the Spanish Parliament in Madrid today after meeting with Spanish bishops to discuss alleged clerical misconduct. In a historic first for the Church, the pontiff claimed the world is facing a profound spiritual and cultural crisis, and he called the war in Iran a, quote, painful defeat of negotiation. Pope Leo will make a stop in Barcelona tomorrow, leading a mass at the Sagrada Familia Basilica. While the ballots are still being tallied in LA's mayoral race, one candidate is losing ground and quickly. Republican and former reality TV show personality Spencer Pratt slipped to third place in the race. LA City Council member Nithya Raman took second place, days after giving a concession speech in front of her supporters. She will likely face off against incumbent Karen Bass on November 3rd. Back here in Arizona, the state's primary elections are coming sooner than some voters may be used to. Caroline Rowland joins us at the touchscreen with why the date changed and what voters should know before heading to the polls.
Arizona's primary is now July 21st, moving back about 3 weeks from the previous primaries. One of the reasons behind the change has to do with what happens after primary day. Once voters cast their ballots, election officials still have to process results and prepare for the general election in November. For voters, the earlier primary also means earlier deadlines. If you're not already registered to vote in the primary, that may be the first thing you do. June 22nd is the last day to register. The primary decides who goes forward to the general election in November for each party. However, you don't have to be a registered member of a party to participate. If you are an independent, the deadline has already passed to request your ballots by mail. But you can still request a ballot if you vote in person. Early in-person voting begins June 24th at sites across the state. That's also when early ballots start going out to voters who requested them by mail. And don't forget that ballots must be received by Election Day by July 21st, so the recommended last day to mail ballots is July 14th. Tom Collins, Executive Director of Arizona Citizens Clean Elections Commission, says there's one important thing to remember.
And then the most important thing is no matter what you do, you have to have voted or have your ballot delivered to at the county by 7 p.m. on Election Day.
Beyond voters' deadlines, the earlier election date will also give counties more time to finalize results, prepare ballots, and get ready for November. At the touchscreen, Caroline Rowland, Cronkite News.
If you got a ticket from a speed camera in Phoenix, you are not alone. That's because nearly 18,000 citations have been issued since the cameras returned to Valley streets. 17 cameras were recently installed across the city, most in areas with a history of speed-related crashes. The rest of the cameras were placed in school zones with 15-mile-per-hour limits. There were a total of 132,000 incidents caught on the cameras over the last few months, but just a fraction of those resulted in actual citations. A new study supported by NASA is bringing the effects of wildfires to the forefront this season. The research, published in the journal Science, finds that smoke from fires is damaging the ozone layer nationwide by releasing more smog into the air. Experts say that recent wildfires have erased up to 4 years of emission progress. That's it for tonight's headlines. I'm Addison Lenhart. Thank you so much for joining us. Now back to Andrew at the desk.
Thank you, Addison. Coming up after the break, one woman attempts to make history. Find out what records she's chasing or rowing after in the middle of the Pacific.
People have always had trouble trying to put me into a box. A professor, suit and tie is just not me. Without the ocean, I don't know what I would do. You know, the ocean's always been there for me. As Hawaiian people, we believe that the coral is the first living being to come out of the darkness. It's the foundation of our entire lifestyle, and that's what my research is about. What we do is we take photographs of the reef over long periods of time to create models that can tell us what the planet is doing. If we go deaf to what the Earth is telling us, then we'll never be able to live in harmony. If I can get my students excited about protecting the ocean, then they're the ones who are gonna really make the difference. I hope my students realize that I'm not trying to prepare them for something in the distant future. Their time is now at Arizona State University.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
Welcome back. A Grand Canyon river guide is making headlines trying to make history.
That's right. Kelsey Fendler is trying to be the first American woman to row solo from California to Hawaii.
The ex-USA women's open raft race team member has crossed the Pacific not once, but twice before, but never alone. The 204,000-mile-long journey should take her about 70 days, 7-0. But within 19 days, that's how much she's gone through now, and she still has a long way to go. Now, she credits her journey to the Whale Foundation, a foundation that gives mental and physical health services to tour guides who spend a lot of time alone in the backcountry. Now, we hope Kelsey completes her trip nice and safely. Folks, that's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Andrew Montana.
And I'm Hope Frost. Thank you for joining us.